Hello friends, welcome to my full moon in Leo reading. Pick a card for you. This is Raven. I have a channel that is witchcraft and tarot and crystals, and today we're doing some tarot and crystals. So the full moon in Leo is afoot. It's coming right up. Leo energy is exciting. It's a heart-centered energy. It asks for courage. It asks for the courage specifically to step into each of our own individual light, individuality in a way. All right, so here is the pick a card. I'm going to invite you to close your eyes or pause the video, close your eyes, and do a little exercise to drop into your intuition in order to pick one of these card piles. This is group number card pile number 1, group number 2, and group number 3. You might be attracted to one of the crystals. You might be attracted to just the way that it looks. There are no right answers here. No, there are no wrong answers here. There are only right answers here. So this is a little tiger's eye, which is a very Leonic. Ooh, look how pretty and striated this one is. Very Leonic energy and stone. There is a bit of a raw emerald. I love this. It's a very divine love kind of stone. And then there's this Tibetan quartz. I can't remember if this is called rutilated or what, but it's a Tibetan quartz and it's full of these beautiful, just chock full of wisdom kind of elements inside of it. So yeah, I'll give you an idea of how to drop into the intuition. I actually took this from the video of Pam Gregory on the full moon because I thought it was perfect for this particular full moon. So what you're gonna do is sit back in your seat. If you're driving, you know, keep your eyes on the road, but you're going to take a few slow, deep breaths and imagine that you are expanding your heart space. So your spiritual heart is, sure, it's where your heart is. It's kind of your chest, it's your whole chest. You can feel it goes from the front all the way to the back. It kind of wings out into the shoulder blades. That's how I've experienced my heart space. So what you'll do is breathe into it in a way that it expands and then just release that and allow the expansion to remain. Do it again. It's almost like you're breathing with the heart. The heart expands and contracts and expands and contracts. And with it, I know that you will feel, love sensations going through your body, and you will feel, as she said, your biomarkers change and just sort of the ability to drop into your intuitive knowing. So very simple. Do that a few times. Let it be what it is. Open your eyes and pick whichever one you want. And then you'll look into the timestamp, and I will have a timestamp for group number 1, number 2, and number 3. See you there. Okay, dear group number 1, this is the tiger's eye. I'm working intimately with this stone right now, and the spirit of this stone is a light being, this golden light that plays across this. I think I described it recently as that stillness that you can get from just resting inside a sunbeam. So it is solar. It is solar plexus, or it is from the second chakra in terms of, the kind of energy that it is and where it vibrates in alignment with in our bodies. But it also has this extremely meditative stillness, even though those can be sort of activated chakras. This is such a beautiful energy. So this is what we have today for you guys. And this is from the Shamanic Oracle, and you have the rainbow. The rainbow is a sign from above. Oh, excellent. The saw started. That's great. You know, I'm just going to push through the sound of that saw. I'm sorry. It's just going to have to happen. So, the rainbow is, it's a sign from the universe. This is like when the synchronicities that are the breadcrumbs on the path, the signs, and the way that the universe communicates with us about our stories and towards our spiritual development. When that just comes shining through with all the colors. So, this is usually a sign that you're on the right path. I remember when I drove to LA, I had a double rainbow that just stayed with me. Yes, let's see what else we have here. Make sure this is in screen, in screen, in screen. Okay. So, the Six of Swords. This is what you're emerging from. This is the past, so to speak. The present is the Six of Wands, couple of sixes here. And the future is the star. Hallelujah. I love the star, Age of Aquarius. And then from the Kuan Yin Oracle, we have the turquoise lotus mother. So the turquoise lotus mother is when we are just at the threshold of a doorway of release. And often it is the hardest part. It's often when we're still operating under the same, patterns and assumptions, and we've outgrown them. And then life just starts to kick you in this direction, in that direction. Get out. Keep going. You've already learned this lesson. So this is a good sign in that it's like, well, you've already learned the lesson. Congratulations. And it's also generally a pretty difficult place to be in that we're still adjusting to that reality. Group number 1, you're still adjusting to that reality and actually making the move that you're capable of making. And the good news is that the universe is telling you that you're on the right path. There's a little bit of encouragement sandwiching what's going on here in the tarot. So let's look at that. So where you are presently is the Six of Wands. It's a little bit of a return from a challenging situation, but feeling like you have so this is generally called victory. And there's a light side and a shadow side to this card. It is sort of receiving recognition from your fellows, receiving recognition for the effort that you've put in, kind of finally. But there's also this sort of sensation or experience of having been through the mill in order to get there, and that not everyone can see that. It's sort of a private grief happening there. So this is how I see the Six of Wands. It's definitely an expansive card, but again, it's on the threshold of expansion, which is exactly what the turquoise lotus mother is encouraging us to do, is to step over that threshold. You can see right there, he's looking towards home. These are like warriors or maybe hunters who have come back from a battle and they're looking towards home. So threshold card, another threshold card in the past. This is what has brought you here. And what you have is the Six of Swords. So the Six of Swords is, it looks like group number 1, you have had to learn to rely on others or had to be the one to care for others in a new way. This is a card of really vulnerable interdependence. When you're having to give away some of your power purely out of need and necessity. Or you're the person who is helping someone else who's in a vulnerable place to get across the waters. So this is an element of the card that I don't always hear people talk about, but my interpretation of Six of Swords is really about the interdependence between this person and this vulnerable mother and child going from one place to another and taking their wounds, their challenges, their traumas with them, all of these swords in the boat. So you have been through something in which you haven't been able to drop yet. Drop those challenging experiences, drop the hurt that you felt, the cuts from those swords. And it's brought you into a place of interdependence in a way that was probably challenging for the ego. And now you're on the other side. You have literally stepped onto the next shore, and you just have to take the first few steps into the star. So what a perfect card to get here. The star in the major arcana comes right after the tower, which is the breaking of the ego, exactly what happened here. And this is the new growth in the forest after the forest fire. This is when the brush is cleared away and there's nutrients in the soil, and you just sprout up and begin to just feel yourself connected and in the flow again, connected and in the flow again. This is the connection. This is available for you now. So this is coming in the full moon of Leo, you know. Leo is courage, the courageous lion. This is part of this archetype and this energy. And part, I would say, even, I love that the Leo constellation and sign has the animal energy within it. So we really can connect with the spirit, the overarching universal spirit of lion for this, and call upon that that energy as an ally and an aid. So if you're doing some meditation group number 1, I would say take a few moments and just humbly and lovingly call in the spirit of lion. Call in the spirit as well of these beautiful tiger's eye. Tigers, lions, my dears. That's what's going on here for you right now. We're talking courage. We're talking pouncing. We're talking grace. We're talking fierceness. And all of that is kind of available for you as soon as you can take those last few steps to rid yourself of what has served you before and isn't serving you anymore. This is a big transitional time. Every part of this reading is really cohesively saying that you're in the right place at the right time, and that you have this awakening coming before you as soon as you are ready to step into it. So much love to you guys. Yeah. All right. I will see you later. Bye-bye. Hello, group number 2. Welcome. So you chose emerald. This beautiful raw emerald is really a higher consciousness, divine light kind of energy to me. I usually almost always put it on the third eye. It's just so transcendent, emeralds. And of course, it's also heart chakra. So it's sort of the bridge between that experience, which can actually be somewhat sort of a real transcendent experience, can be almost like removed from like relational issues. It's almost above any kind of our tiny little problems. But this crystal, which goes from the divine light and then directly down into the heart, it really allows that connection to be made, so that you can still be super invested in all of the small stuff in a way that is inspired and able to sort of transcend at the same time. That's what I'm getting from emerald right now. So from the shamanic oracle, we have the upper world. Yes, very much emerald. This is exactly what emerald is, the upper world. I love that this depiction kind of shows eagle or something like that, and then almost like a web of light. And that's how I've heard it described before from people's visionary experiences, that there's a web of light that kind of covers the upper atmosphere or goes out into the cosmos. So that's what's being depicted here, is kind of the macrocosm for us. And if you have any relationship with angelic beings, this is sort of saying that those kind of consciousnesses are here for you right now. So let's just keep going with all this. All right, and so for the tarot, you have the Two of Wands. You have the, you have the Ten of Cups, Three of Wands, and the Two of Wands. So the completion of a cycle, kind of having a different perspective and then going out and making the change that comes from that perspective. And we'll keep exploring this a little more. A lot of wands here, a lot of action and transformation. And the chapter that you've just gotten out of is one of emotion and intuition. So interesting stuff. And then what we have is the bamboo moon. This is from the Kuan Yin Oracle. So this is about divine timing. The way they explain this card is Chinese bamboo. It grows almost not at all for something like 5 years. It's just a spindly little guy. And then suddenly it shoots up like crazy and the roots are really strong. So this is about trusting timing when it feels and it seems like something isn't happening yet. Or maybe that so much is happening and you're not ready for it yet. This is all sort of an invitation to get into that moon, like to get into the sort of trust and surrender into the cycles. Wow, this is so funny because I've really been thinking about this today. I have to apologize for the saw coming through the window, but this is my reality. I'm just gonna have to roll with it. So, I was really thinking about timing today. And the way we experience that every month as women, men too to some extent, and the way we experience it in these like small cycles and large cycles, and how leaning into the timing of things, especially now, it's the full moon. This is exactly what this is why we showed up today, because we are paying attention to timing. We are feeling into the emotional growth cycles and the larger spiritual cycles that are affecting all of that for us. So this is an affirmation of being here today, even this bamboo moon card. And for you, group number 2, this is an affirmation of sort of, or maybe even an invitation into release, in not efforting too hard, or just having faith in the efforting that you're doing. If it doesn't seem like things are making sense, this is really telling us that they are, and it's not all up to you. And it's coming from a place, and now it makes sense that it doesn't make sense. We're talking about the upper worlds, angelic realms. This is a plan that is way beyond you right now. So you are plugged in, and there's a little bit of needing to surrender to that divine timing issue. So let's look at exactly what's been happening for you guys, group number 2. So where you've come from is the Ten of Cups. The Ten of Cups is the completion of a cycle. All tens are, and in this case, it was a cycle of sort of emotional connection. Maybe it was a relationship that you gotten out of. Maybe it's the way that you are in your relationship that you've transitioned out of. Maybe it's emotional connection that you had through people at a job, but something has wrapped up for you. Something has completed, and there is some loss and sort of like not knowing where to go from there, even though it looks like there was a lot of joy in that situation for you. So there is sort of like a bittersweetness there. And then where you are right now, because of having transitioned out of that, you're here in the Three of Wands. So the Three of Wands is a change in perspective, and also sort of a contemplation. Oh, I love that they have this rainbow here. This is different a little than, the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, but the rainbow is a sign of of being right with the universe. You know, it's like the most kind of affirmative of the synchronicities that might come your way. I was talking about this to group number 1. So I love that this is here. And, you know, you're in a change of perspective and just kind of at this point soaking it in and trying to figure out where you stand and how does it now feel to stand in the shoes, stand in the body that you are in right now, as opposed to kind of the momentum that you had before when maybe you didn't even have the chance to stop and feel into the place where you are. And so here you are in this a little bit of a waiting period, this is telling me, but also that you've had a lot of investment put into getting there. And so there really is momentum there to carry you forward, but you're not able to quite get into it yet. Interesting. And then what you have going forward, so coming out of this space of waiting for this divine timing and trusting in this divine timing, you have the 2 of Wands. So the 2 of Wands is kind of going when you're ready. I've never really thought of that in this way before, but you have the man standing in his castle, looking out, feeling sort of like an internal call into the next step. But he does it with the world in his hands. He does it from a place of stability. He does it from having a kind of foundation of support around him that allows him to go and explore the wider world. So yeah, it looks like that foundation is still developing for you, group number 2. As it should be. So I invite you this 2 weeks as the full moon in Leo is waning out. You know, Leo is a very creative sign and it's a very courageous sign, but your courage right now is a little bit in releasing, which takes a lot of courage. And it also is, I think it's in confidence. So this trust in divine timing takes also a lot of self-confidence. So that's the part of this Leonic energy that you should be inviting in as the moon wanes from full to new on this month. And also if you're able to get a hold of some emerald or even some emerald green fabric and just invite this color and this vibration into your life, this will give you, this is the color of the heart. Leo is a very heart-centered energy. So this is what I have for you, group number 2. Much love to you, and I will see you later. Bye-bye. Hello, group number 3. Welcome. So the one that you chose has this beautiful Tibetan quartz in it. I wish I could show each one of you. It's like someone took some of that kind of flaky, larger glitter and pulled it into a clear quartz and mixed it up with a little mystical mist. That's what this looks like, and it is gorgeous. I've always felt like when I meditate with this particular crystal, it has a lot of messages for me. I can't say what they are yet, but I do know that it just contains a lot of wisdom and information. So this is where we're at here for you guys for the full moon in Leo. And the Mystical Shaman Oracle, what you have is the corn. I love this. So the corn in this deck is basically abundance. This is like material abundance come into fruit. The gifts of the earth. Just prosperity even, and and time for Thanksgiving. So this is a wonderful place to be. Let's see how that continues to play out for you guys, group number 2. You're coming out of arrange this so you can see it. You're coming out of the 7 of Cups. So dreamy, dreamy time, really cooking up your reality from the inside out. And then right now you're in a bit of a stalemate, kind of feeling like you're out of options or just hemmed in, not really feeling the freedom of your situation. And what you're going into is justice. So we have our major arcana card. This is just telling me that your next step, group number 3, is going to bring you into some major transformation and some major kind of like self-knowledge. So, and our last card for you, group number 3, is the Tao. So this is from the Kuan Yin Oracle. And this card is about a sort of when you are maturing and going through the lessons of life and suddenly realizing that you can work less hard. That you and your plans and best laid plans of mice and men are pretty ridiculous when it comes to the real flow of life. So this is showing me in both cases between this card of material abundance and being able to sort of like pay it forward in gratitude and thanksgiving. The more you can tap into gratitude right now, group number 3, the more you'll be able to feel this abundance, because there really is a lot there for you. And that gratitude is kind of a gateway into this step in maturity, which is having to do with sort of like a release into the flow of life. Interesting, because Leo is not that great at releasing. You know, it's a very sort of like egocentric kind of card on one hand, but on the other hand, once Leonic energy is matured, it is just all about service to others. It's all about sort of like joy and jubilation. So that is kind of how that Leo energy intersects with the Tao energy I'm feeling. So let's look at exactly what has been going on for you, group number 3. You have come out of the 7 of Cups. So a lot of people talk about the shadow side of the 7 of Cups. Kitty, stop. Oh my goodness. All right, well, it's just going to be a little loud. So the 7 of Cups shadow side is being stuck in the head and stuck in the imagination, not really bringing things down to earth. And yet, that's not what I'm feeling for you guys. I'm feeling like you have culled and spent time in the upper atmosphere of your creativity and your imagination, and you've allowed this sort of envisioning to happen. You've done some visioning in your life that has brought you to the place where you are now, where you do have a little more access, where you are like up in that cornfield. So this is where you've come from, this sort of maybe like even a more prolonged sort of wander, but it's given you a lot of fodder for where you are now. And where you are now is the 8 of Swords. So this is not the easiest place to be. This is usually a little bit of feeling hemmed in. You know, this girl, she's literally, her hands are in her pocket. She could just take her blindfold off, but there's some kind of mental block happening here for you, group number 3, where you have more agency than you're able to see right now. And I think this does come back to this abundance card. A gratitude practice is essential for you right now, you guys. In order to break out of this kind of like a little bit of a mental prison of not being able to see the resources all around you. You can literally just step forward out of the forest of trees, right? So then the invitation going out of this, the opportunity for you, group number 3, is justice. So This is sort of like when your spiritual path comes down out of the mountain and is applied into society again. Sometimes this can come about through literally having to make a decision of one or the other. Sometimes it's also a pointer to kind of like that you might be learning lessons about your own judgment, judging yourself, judging others. And then on a deeper level, the Justice card is about applying spiritual life into community, into world, into decision making. So this is an integration for you guys. You've been up here in the clouds, and right now you need a little perspective. And once you get that, you will be able to apply and make whatever decision you need to make to bring you in alignment here with the Tao. And in fact, actually, this is what this card is saying. You are in alignment with the Tao. You don't need to do anything. All you need to do is look at where you are. Look at where you are. Look at where you are. And as much as this has serviced you before to be in your creative kind of whimsical headspace, it may be that shadow side has in fact influenced you from or just prevented you from sinking and grounding down into the moment and being where you are. So yeah, it looks like you're really being invited into applying into your life right now, group number 3. This is the wisdom coming through. There's so much under there that you have gathered up and that you simply are going through the process in this full moon in Leo to have the courage to shine forth out of it. All this shining golden corn light. Yeah, so it's almost like you're coming back down to earth right now and finding that you have so much more freedom and bounty than you thought that you had. And that the way to do that, this card is telling us, the way for you to make this transition into this major arcana moment is to release into it. To release into it and kind of know that you're being supported into it and that you're already there. All you have to do is take your hands out of your pockets, take this off. More easily said than done. But this is what's being supported for you in this full moon. You know, ride through this full moon, group number 3. Just allow the emotions to fill up your cup and go over the side and let them wash out the sort of former perspective that you've been having, because you really have what you need around you. It's a beautiful thing, and you're ready to apply it. So, all right, apply wisdom. You know, I also, just one more thing, I'm feeling a connection between these cards. This is like eternal wisdom, and the way that in the Eastern societies that is really able to be intellectually articulated in these interesting and amazing ways. And this is where you are right now with Justice coming down off the mountain and communicating and being decisive and being intellectual in some ways. Just got that for you, group number 3. Okay, well, much love to you. I'm so glad that you listened, and I put out videos every Friday. I hope you come back. All right, see you later. Bye.